Hello everyone. So I've just connected. I'm all ready. So as you can see, let me just focus this one. Okay. So now what we'll do is just a minute. I'm ready with all of them. Uh, it's good. Okay. So let's start painting. I'm going to use my uh, Winsor Newton paints. And then I also have some of these other paints too, basics, and then this one is from within India, which I bought. All combinations I have. So I have my helper here, my daughter.
If you don't have all the Winsor
There.
Newton
Hello.
paints, or otherwise, you can always use your own acrylics or what.
Okay, so let's just start painting. So as you can see, what I have here is titanium white and and blue. So I'll start painting this. This is first based on that. Okay, let's just do this one. So first, if I paint this, I'll just paint that. It's a reflection. So first, we'll paint both the sky and the reflection in the water. Then we'll start with layer by layer, top to bottom, background to foreground. So that's what we'll concentrate on. I'm not going to draw anything. As you can see, I didn't draw anything. So I will actually just paint straight. We'll try just along the way. I think, I hope that you'll also learn something out of it. So make sure if you're using canvas or like me, this is a canvas paper, especially acrylic ones. If it is canvas, I think you will have more struggle if you don't have experience with uh, paper. So you just need to know when to apply color and how fast you need to. Many of you actually might struggle with just struggle with just the color blending. So what I'll do is, let me just do this first. Let me just do this first. I don't want to be going all the way down. So then just the plain sky, but we'll put some clouds here and there. Any type of cloud. So I'm actually going to go with streaky type of cloud. Blend it properly. So horizon, darker to lighter. That's what I'm going to concentrate on. So as you can see, I'm actually going to not rub too much. Let it just like that, because I have mountain which is darker. So if I really want, I can actually go and make some clouds out of it. I am not going to do too much. Just a stippling little bit. Here maybe I might get mountain. I think I'm not worried about it. So I'm going to put somewhere around here. The top shape while it is wet. So I know that I can see the top edge of my cloud, right? So this actually has to be reflected too. So we'll keep that in mind. Corners, I can actually make it a little bit darker. Smooth blending, and not a, that should be enough. So this is what we are going to do here is, let me take a pencil. If I am actually, according to the photo, usually composition you should not divide, but here both of them are mirror reflection, so I'm actually going to divide that somewhere here half. So if I draw that line, that's where it's going to be. That's where the shoreline and then horizon line is somewhere around that. So keeping that in mind, this is where my mountain is going to be, and we'll do the same thing reverse wise as well. So I need to take some more white paint. White is the most used, so make sure that you have plenty of it. And then we'll do the same thing downwards at the bottom. We will not concentrate much of, because there are trees and mountains are going to be here, so again it's the same thing here. So I'm going to leave a little bit here, and then rest of it I'll paint. So let's try to paint. As you can see, even if it is reverse reflection, it has to be lighter to darker, so I'm going to go ahead with that. But you have to keep in mind that the reflection does not only depend on this, also depends on the sky above it. So if it is more, so you don't know, based on that it can change. So keep that in mind, because it's not that exactly it has to be reflected. So here I'm going to just leave a little bit light whiter with light blue. And as I go down, it's up to you, because it doesn't have to exactly resemble. You have the liberty, you have the freedom of how you want that to be. So here mainly, as you can see, I blended here, but here most of the time I'm going to go horizontal, although I went horizontal here and then I put some clouds. But here I would intentionally go horizontal, because water, it's not waterfalls, water flows or anything which is horizontal here, so your lines are actually going to be horizontal. So that means you have to have horizontal strokes. Even if you have any mistakes, it won't show through. That's the idea behind that. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to, let me just paint larger area. You can take bigger brush. I have taken angular brush. You can also use just the flat brush. The bigger the brush, the larger area you can actually cover as soon as possible, and the blending will be easier. So those are the things you need to remember. It with a small brush, you just keep on going left and right. It's not going to help. You will struggle a lot. So here what I'm going to do is, although it's not much, intentionally what I'm going to do here, I will actually take the liberty of making this more darker here in the corner, mainly at the bottom. Intentionally I'm going to do that, and then I'll leave this horizontal. I'm not going to do all horizontal strokes. Just the light shimmering somewhere here and there, so that we have to leave some pockets of white here. So we'll leave it at this. So this is acrylic. So if it is water, then I need to wait for a little longer. But now it's good enough that it's just a minute. Yes, nothing is dark here, so it's just doesn't want to focus much. But okay, so now what we'll do is, I will take Payne's gray. Payne's gray, if you don't have, there are so many other options. If you have midnight black you can take. If not, if you just take black, because that, if it is midnight black, usually what happens is there's a little bit of a tint of blue is there. Payne's gray actually, although it is darker color, there is a little bit bluish gray is there. You can also use darker version of indigo, or if you don't have anything, just take black, add some blue to that, and then less black, not more black, than otherwise you will still have the black itself. So I'm actually going to take Payne's gray, which is actually going to be bluish. I can add whatever blue I have here, so that will be my major color. And I also need some white to this, because I need to get, while it is wet I can do some, and then while it dries I can do layer by layer.
So when you're painting, especially the sky,
Mhm.
sky is the main thing. So main difficulty. what I usually face when you're painting the sky, you make sure that you don't paint the blue straight from the tube. You put the blue in a palette. If you take it straight from the tube, you like a spoon, you can just scoop the blue out, and your result will be the sky is completely blue
Yes.
instead of white.
So now, as you can see from our reference, actually we have a mountain. I'm not going to exactly follow that. The representation is there, so we'll take the same thing up. We'll try to put mountain, because as you can see the mountain range, there are 2 or 3 layers are there. So we'll uh, we'll do the same thing actually. Let's try. So here, there, it goes somewhere down. We'll just treat that later. And then again it goes one more here, but I am not going to paint that. It has to be somewhere here again. You can use either this brush, or otherwise I have a filbert brush too. I have to leave this here, otherwise. Let's try this. Irregular shape, so don't worry about how much it has to be. There. Anything will make up later. That's fine. So we'll leave this. We'll take that here. I have to make sure here my bank and then trees, all of them are there. So what I'm going to do is I will just pull this downwards so that I'm not keeping that color there, right? So I'll do the same thing here too. Let's take a little bit up. Okay. You don't have to struggle too much with that. It's just irregular shape. As a mountain, so make sure that your strokes are at least downwards this side or that side. So we will follow that contour itself. Let this dry a little bit, because okay, although I have some lines here, mainly here. Okay. Okay. Right, so this is the time you can, this detailing is actually is up to you how much detail you want to put. So just keep that in mind. I am going to go ahead and put some, actually it has to dry, but I will try here just as it is a little bit wet, so that will actually, it, yeah, that should be good enough. So that will show whiteness. Again I will go back. This time what I'm going to do here is I'll take my filbert brush. So this way I can actually control here. As you can see, this is there. So we have put white, so now I can actually show some dark on that. Otherwise the same color I would have not been able. So that shows that part. So again we'll do the same thing for this part as well. So for that reason I need to go, it's a dry brush. I'm going to take tap tap tap, and here somewhere it has to be. I'm going to go in circles and get that little bit whiter. We'll do all those rest of the things later, but for now that's what I need. You can use blending brush, I do have, but I don't want any one of you to just keep on finding those. So let's go with here again darker. So here, there, I got another layer, so I can actually have one more here. But for that, I need to have some more of that mist. Go in circles. Go in circles, 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 circles. Yeah, there. Some more. We'll do all that. Okay. Again, going back with my filbert brush. Uh, as you can see, that actually shows through as another. So there is mist between layers. We have done enough layers now. Let's put some more details into that before we start anything else. We'll put the mist again in front, but before that, let's do some detailing here and there. So I'm not going to do too much, so at least you get an idea exactly how to do. But I'm just tapping here and there just to get the texture. Follow the contour mainly.
So before you paint the mountains, you have to make sure that you know how many mountains you're painting, how many times you go, how many times you go to the top. Because if you paint too many, there'll be too many details and too many confusing things. Try to make less mountains like here. Try not to do any extra mountains when you're following along. If you make extras, there will be too much detail, too much highlight, too much shadow. When you put a certain amount of mountains and certain amount of texture, it will be good.
Very important. I'm actually going with the darker one, so we'll come back with a little bit lighter one too, because somewhere it needs lighter too. So let's keep that. What I'm going to do is let me wash my brush, and then instead of that, this time I'm going to take more of this lighter color, lighter gray, not darker. Okay, so now let's try to put somewhere here and there. Again, it is just touching. Remember, it doesn't have to be same. Keep on loading your brush, otherwise you won't. It will pick up the paint if it is still wet. So I'm going to put some more here. I think that should be enough. I don't want to. It's bluish gray color, like I said. So I'm not following exactly. I could have used Prussian blue or otherwise phthalo blue just to get the same bluish perspective. But I've just taken this. Let's just follow along with that. So now we also need to do the reverse of this. That's what we'll do now. Let's try. I will try my best to get this exactly. I will not take exact full dark, although it is mirror reflection. It has to be lighter, but it can also be darker depending on the light source where the light is. So let's try this with this. So if this is the bank, that's where it is supposed to go. So I will have some metal here, and this is here. I will have somewhere here, there, there. Reflection. Understand reflections. Very important. There, there. Okay, it's more than enough. So I think there. Reflection, all the mirror reflection, but still water is somewhere on that. I think that's what I'm going to put all horizontal strokes again, because if there is any water, so I just water shimmering through that is needed, and we'll put some highlights too. Just learn some techniques out of this, so at least you learn something that you can do. As you can see, I'm just doing applying dry brush paints, less paint on the brush. I can actually leave like this. As you can see, this will look like shimmering light, but I still feel that it is too too much of
Too much of white, too much of blue.
pocket. This white actually I can any reflection of that green is also there, so I have to be very careful with that too. Otherwise, the values, if both of them are same, then I will end up having same color, and I won't be able to recognize which color is from far 4 to 6 feet.
One tip I would like to tell you that when I'm beginner, I have recognized this many times. When I'm doing the reflection, I put too much white example, but then I start putting the dark color, and then I put too much dark. So you keep mixing the dark and white, and in the end it becomes too like mixed up.
Yes.
Like you keep doing the same mistake over and over. Too much color. That's why you know to put a certain amount of color and leave it.
So let's do something here. I want to apply more white here. Then we will try to come again and try. Okay, leave it like that. And because I have all those, this one actually has to be shown through here. That one will go there little bit. Right? And then the next thing is this will come here too. That is there. And then the next thing is that will come here too. That's the reflection. Right. Okay. So now that's the reflection that I have here. And then if I want to put any of little bit of white here and there, like this is like that. So this should be like this. This should be like this somewhere here and there. Then also it goes here, a little bit here too. Just just a suggestion. Don't want too much. Okay. Now what I want to do here is we'll try to put some fog or mist sorry, mist around here, around this full part. We'll try to put dry brush again with the this brush. So I'm going to put that brush mist by using circular motion. Dry brush. Make sure your paint is dry. Very important. Otherwise, and I will put some at the bottom too, just to get that. So that's the mist I'm going to create there. Yes. Okay. I'll not do too much of dilly dally with that. Okay. So now this is what we have for now. This reflection can also be more here. Let's do something. I've taken round brush. Let's try here whatever I can. Doesn't have to be because of the water, although it doesn't, it's not flowing, but ripples somewhere it's there, so you have to be very careful with that there. Again here we'll do the same thing. We'll come back and put more details later, but for now I will just leave this as is. Right.
If you made any mistake like between where the mountain and the mountain reflections where the mist is, if you made any mistake there is no problem. Anyways, you're gonna put the trees there, which you can fix the mistake.
Okay, so now in that reference photo trees are behind that, so that means actually I need to paint trees first, then only that particular thing on the bank will come. So for that reason what I'm going to do here is I will take my hooker screen. If I paint straight it's not dark enough, so I have to mix with Prussian blue is good, phthalo blue is good. In this case I have my Payne's gray. I'm actually going to use Payne's gray. To get the lightness we'll use cadmium lemon yellow, but for now I need that darkness because light is from just from top, it's not exactly from front or back, so it's not a hard shadow, only just the reflection. So I'm just mixing this color. Let's just mix this dark enough. So okay, make sure add 1 or 2 drops if you don't, if you are actually mixing it from the tube, so it just flows properly. Take that, and now let's try to paint somewhere because I have to have that bank is there and then trees are there, so I'm actually going to draw a line so that that's my reference. It's going to be my reference. So here somewhere it's going to be somewhere there. So let's just go here and here some reference line. So I'm actually going to go with that there. That reference line will act as where I need to draw those trees. If not, because this is in the foreground, that is in the background, so that's what we are going to follow. I've taken this round brush, but if you're not comfortable, let me see. If I'm not comfortable, then I'll just go with something which is uh, small brush. I think I might need, that is not enough. I'll take some other brush, liner brush. I'll take some liner brush. Okay, so let's take liner brush. I'll add some more water to that so that when I pick up, I know I'm actually going to draw it properly. It's better this way. Otherwise, I won't be able to get those lines properly. So yeah, much better. So there's one more line there, one more line. If you're not getting lines, make sure that you add some 1 or 2 drops of water, so that means it's not flowing properly. That's the main thing you need to remember, mainly while using liner brush into any other pattern. This is actually going to take a little longer, so let's try. So here again, I'm not going to go with the exact picture perfect. You get the idea exactly what we are painting. So we'll put some highlights later too. I'm adding 1 more drop of water here. Don't want to create the patterns, so I'm going to leave some space here. Again, come back, some bigger one. Just the right and to just to speed it up, we I could have used when the flat brush would have worked easily. Just stipple some and then you get that's that is also possible. But let me take my time just to complete this little bit. Yeah. Again, I'll put one long one here. See, as you can see, the values are same here. I want that's the reason why we put that mist is that not only about the photo reference but also about the color here. The values are same. I won't be able to recognize the tip as it's the same value, same darkness.
In other words, like means the background and the foreground are both kind of dark colors, If you did not put that mist from a distance, you might not be able to differentiate them. So when you put the mist, the white is behind and the trees pop up and you can see them properly. And it also gives the effect that the mountains are further away than the trees.
This is more of a stipple. I am just going to stipple this type of trees here. It's much better. Uh, just a bushy tree, not that type of that.
You can also add a few shrubs if you want.
Yes. Let's
The ones
see.
that are under the trees, the sharp bushes.
That's where the trees are because we need to put some highlight in this. It is not as dark as I wanted that to be, but we'll try some here. Okay, what we'll do is I'm going to take my this one filbert brush. I'm going to stipple it this time. Let's just the trees. I'm going to go with that type of stippling. So you will know both ways of doing this. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. I will also use this here a little bit just to get the darkness, and we'll mix some. Okay, that's much better, I think. Okay, let's try mixing some yellow and put some highlight because this yellow is opaque. Cadmium lemon. This is opaque, so should be much better when we apply the color because you have to be very careful with what is opaque, what is not, because what we have put until now, none of that is opaque. Payne's gray is semi-transparent, and Then that green is also not opaque. So now let's try to put some highlights on this. This will be much better compared to that. Far away trees. Don't spend too much time on these highlights. Remember, far away trees. I can spend 5 hours just making it more perfect. Just the details. You just need to show that it has some kind of form from far. That's the idea behind that.
If the tree is right in front of you, then only you will need 5 hours to do the
Mhm.
details. If the tree, like, you're standing half meter in front of the tree, then that would be a different story.
Far away. I don't want to put here. This is where I can actually play with a little bit lighter, so that shows through. Then I know that goes till the top. I'm just tippling with that. This is where, like I said, because this is opaque, it will show through, it will cover the bottom layer too. And also it gives a kind of good highlight to each one of them. If you feel that this is still not enough, add more yellow and a touch of white if you want. Let's do that now. I will take this white and that out from the brush itself. Taken white, as you can see, this is brighter, whiter than this. So just take that. Not going to add any water. Let's add one drop of water. Otherwise, it might not stick. Okay. So now let's go through wherever I want little bit highlight. If you feel that it's too much, just take it off just right like that. As you can see, now it is more visible from far. Not too much. I don't want to put everywhere. I think that should be good enough. Let me just take a little bit up here too. Feels like it's too dark. Okay, any of that reflection also is needed. So before anything dries, I'm going to take my silver brush. I have yellow here. I'm going to do the stippling for this. So take that, mix that color, apply this color one side, another side. Then we will just go with more bright. Just do the stippling. It's not just straight line, so you will manage that. Okay. Now let's go to the dark part. Still we are doing the same stippling. Here we will just make it light because I want that line to be there. So we'll follow that along. And then here I want this to be exactly according to that. So I can create a layer. If it is not dark and light, I won't be able to do that. So keep that in mind. Again, we'll do the same thing here too. Now two of them. So we got some 2 3 layers here. So one here, one here. It looks more realistic than just the plain painting, right? So here, this is where you need to decide where this is actually going to go. I'm going to draw that line here itself. I'm not going further down in this. I can use a paper here just to get that straight line or ruler. Okay, I think that should be good enough. This is where I'm going to draw. Okay, let's take a little bit black, not black, paint spray, and make that. This is where I want you to leave a white line if possible. We can draw like a line there later. Just little bit here and there. That actually shows my shore, right? So that's the intention, not everywhere. Okay, let's take that full black because that reflection I want to make sure that it's dark. Remember, I will actually take some yellow too, just to get that. This white line we'll do it later. No need to worry about it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is take that black. I think I need some more paint spray. Let's take some more paint spray and paint that proper reflection. So I have my hooker screen. I'll take some this just to get the dark. If not, like I said, you can actually get it dark by adding Prussian blue, phthalo blue, Prussian blue. I would actually go for Prussian blue if I have, but I just want to use the same colors what we have. So that dark is enough. Okay, so now let's try as much as possible. We'll try to get this reflection right here. All squiggly lines, little bit. Just the reflection squiggly lines. You try to match whatever is possible. I am trying to match whatever we have. Try to look at the height too. You don't want this to be. So let's try to match if something is not quite straight. I think I have put little bit of white is left that shoreline, otherwise I won't be able to show through, but I still feel that maybe I need to put some darker here just to get that differentiation of dark and light. Mm, we will not worry about that line. We will try to put it later. It's not a problem at all. Just the highlight on top of this meadow type, and then little bit at the bottom. So I've tried my best, I think, to get come close to whatever is possible. It's not the exact representation, like I said. I could have used different color for mountain, but that's a reference photo. I don't want to exactly copy that. So, like I said, everyone has the freedom of as being a painter. You have the freedom of choosing how you want to change certain things. So, try to keep that in mind. Here, intentionally, I'll come out of this. Otherwise, I'm not able to break it. This one is shorter, and then this one is actually I can actually go a little bit longer. So that will break that, and then yeah, that should be good enough. I think. Let's just see anywhere. I need to put lights or anything there. So that should be good enough. So let's try. Let's try to put. I'll go back with my cerulean blue because somewhere in between, although there is mountain, I want to get that line properly. So just a little bit cerulean blue and white. Let's get that just a little bit. It's just my preference that I am trying to get that. Okay, let's try. Excess water. I've added just 1 or 2 drops of water. I'm going to take that light blue color here. Let's see. Okay, well, there was green little bit, but still, let's try. I think what I can do here is right here. Let's try. This is the line which I was talking about. You don't have to worry about it. That we'll also put some shimmering lights to that, so we know where actually it has to. There's doesn't have to be everywhere. Don't do that. So here intentionally, like in the photo, I am going to take this all the way up there. So even if it is wet, if you're working on canvas, don't worry about it because that will exactly show that as shimmering light. So see, that's where you need to break this out. If not, what will happen is you will not be able to show that as just a longer line. There. Load the brush, come back and just a little bit loading again. Going to take one highlight type, just one more here. Not going to put small details, so I will, but manage to put like ripples. As you can see, I'm not taking straight white, although you can, but I'm trying to replicate the color what you can. Use your finger a little bit here and there if it really needs. So here is that, and here I will intentionally break this, so we know that I'll try to take more of white. Yes. So I think I'm getting there almost. I'll take this inside a little bit again, break this out. So that's what we have done. What I want to do here is, if I really want it, let's take just the blue, a little bit separate. Actually, let's mix this here, blue and white. This is my trusty palette. So what I am trying to do here is, if I really want, that's not blue enough, dark enough. Let's see here if I can get those lines. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Just touch some lines in this, little bit darker. That is, yes, that's what I want. I think I don't have enough paint here, but let's try. Let's take some more paint. So now again some more here. Just try to make sure that you're not overdoing it. Just because I could have left this as is, because I still want those lines, a little bit of ripples going through here and there. Make sure don't put a thick line, then you will just spoil the entire painting. I can actually make it darker here, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'll just leave it as is. So as it comes closer. So here at this point, if you feel that somewhere highlight is not there or anywhere something you're missing, you can go back to anything darker. Let's try. Let's see on the mountain if there is anything that I can actually think of. Mm, mm. I'm going to just dry brush this little bit. Take out excess paint and then just rub this so you don't want to spoil that. Yeah, there. Here we never put anything. That's the reason I have just left it as is. So that is with that. And here, if I really need, it looks like I didn't put anything here. There's some lines. I'm not going to leave it empty. Again was there. That's enough. So I think we are done. So I'm happy with how it turned out. If you really want to put any highlight, so the other option could be just take a little bit of yellow. This is an optional. You can actually stop here itself. So let's just try that yellow, little bit of coarse green, just a little bit, but I need more of yellow. If you really need to put any highlight, if you feel that, I think the color contrast is correct here, values are right. It's not that too close that I need to show some too much of brightness, but I don't know if you feel that. I don't think so. And here anything. No, that also feels too bright. Okay, let's do one thing here. If anything is there, I need to put there itself. Right? And this is where I'm going to put, use my fingers. Tap, 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 tap. So I will know exactly what. That's just the shimmering light at the top. So that's enough. Yeah, that should be enough. I don't want to spoil what I have now. So I think that's a reflection. That's what we have. Trees I have. I think I have enough. This reflection I have put enough here. Here too. It's there. It has come all the way till there. And then some more reflection there. I think I'm just done. If you want, you can actually put many of these ripples here just to show. Let me just remove this. Then you should be able to see how it is. Just a minute because this is my canvas pad. Just a minute. I don't want to spoil anything here. Okay. So that is the revealing time. That's what I have. Moment of truth. But I think it's good enough. Like I said, I'm not. I did not try exactly. Oh, that paint. Paint. Okay. We'll look later. That's all about it. That's what I have. So that's a reference photo. Like I said, concentrate on. I could have gone with different colors, so I've taken only one color, which is Payne's gray. I could have taken blue and then match the exact color. Also possible. It's not that it's not possible, but the representation, if you see the mountains also, I didn't go all just every nook and corner of the top of the mountain, but try to represent what I have represented here. So the layers of mountain ranges. So go through this how I've applied the mist as well, and then the foreground and reflection. So that's the painting. And thank you for joining. I'll see you next week again.
We hope you enjoyed this live
Yeah,
stream.
I hope you enjoyed this. Try not to forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you again.